Hey, how we doing? We'll do. Just a sec, just checking now. All good. Just a second. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. So yeah, go for it. Oh wait, I can't actually hear the audio on YouTube. Good thing you put that up. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what the issue is? Maybe it's probably the input and output settings on whichever streaming platform you use.
I can hear it for some reason.
My bad. Yeah, my tab was muted.
Yes,
My tab
I
is.
can hear.
But it's a good thing you double check. No, sir. No, I'm not. Risk.
Risks, and you should do your own market research. Yeah. I don't mind. Okay. Let's share. Okay, so I can share it. Is it working? Yeah. Okay. Continue. Oh yeah. Can you see now? Great. Let's start on a Bitcoin chart because I think Bitcoin might pump while we're talking. Last Sunday we got a little bit excited. Ninja had a stop buy order, right? At 23K. But I think we're not playing out there. Okay, so that's the 4 hourly chart, right? And it's looking into the British side again. And I did this target price. So we could potentially break out again to 27,500, somewhere around. And that would bring us back to the bullish feeling. And I did make a short here. So if you do the short, in these past days, I made a video like 5 days ago. So well done for everybody there. Yeah, yeah, it went through. But I honestly felt that we were going to be, somewhere around the previous support. So I thought that that would be like till 25K, but somehow we managed to hold again. And I was like, he's holding too much. So I'm gonna exit the short. And now it's the time to go back to the long. So I think that's a very, very possible scenario because we crossing bullish again. on a MACD. So yeah, that's the bullish sign if we do breakout. So 27, 800, 27, 500, somewhere around. And I also want to talk about some, okay, that's the Bitcoin dominance on a daily.
Yeah, I was just gonna say two things. I've noticed that for starters, you only do two time frames. So I see on the top left, you've got the 15-minute and the daily, or the 4 hour in some cases. And also, you only like look through the Heikin-Ashi candles? If so, how come?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just like visually makes sense for me, and I'm used to these candles. I think they don't make much difference really, but you know, I think if you're doing some short or long, but in a small time frame, you should go to the 15 minutes. But overall, Bitcoin is being, is not moving like it used to move. So I think Bitcoin is very, very stable. In general, I think it's been a stable coin for some point, some time, which is good, comparing to whatever is going on in the economy. It's not doing much, but in the same time, it's been very, very stable, and that's what Bitcoin is meant to be. So I think I lost the halving. Wait, I lost it. It was here. Oh yeah. So we're like 6 months from it, and I think it's a very, very great sign. Also, I think we just consolidating forever, and we could play inside support and resistance, but with the Bitcoin halving upcoming, I think we're just gonna go sideways and be very, very manipulated at these times.
Right.
So I wanted to say for everybody that is watching, it's time to start accumulating for the next halving. And 6 months, I believe that we're going to explode on that day. So yeah, crypto bubbles. It's shaking out today, which is weird, Sunday, right? This Loom network apparently is moving. So you can yeah. Well, if you're buying on a long term, you can come and press the week or the month, right? That's crazy. It's really, really pumping hard. So if you're buying on a long term, so I think it's a new listing in many places. So I think still time to buy. So if you're doing small positions to the 4 hourly, whatever, so you come to the daily and have a look yourself. Loom, apparently it's very, very up. So here I even have the graph that's on Bybit. So if you go like 4 hourly chart, it's not much. It's new. It's being new everywhere. So that's something you can have a look on. But yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for a few hours and see if I can make a short on this coin. But altcoins, they move very, very crazy. So I'll just be waiting for, till tomorrow, I would say, and then I'll see if I'll make a shot on it. But yeah, the biggest thing is the halving that is coming. And I think, we're just being very, very manipulated at this time in Bitcoin. And it's time to buy and hold and wait for the long picture. But if you want to make more money, just go to the altcoins and have a look at crypto bubbles. Pretty easy. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd say this is quite interesting. I've never actually heard of crypto bubbles. Also
It's very nice.
nice to see it all illustrated as well, so that you see how fast and quick,
It's
the
pretty easy, yeah. I always say like you look into the green bubbles to sell and the red bubbles to buy.
right.
That's it. And it's fun. It's pretty easy. It helps a lot of people that don't understand to get into crypto. So yeah, I think the halving will do good. And apart from that, it's been boring to trade Bitcoin, honestly. So I'll be more looking into buy and sell some crazy altcoin moves. So yeah.
Do you have any background info maybe on Loom perhaps on like its use case?
Yeah, we can go to CoinMarketCap. Yeah, it's moving really, really 0.37. So still on a very, very great buy. Still very low though. Very low. Binance, KuCoin, whatever you want to trade on. Let's see, what is Loom? Is a platform as a service that is built on top of Ethereum and allows developers to run large-scale decentralized applications. This platform was released on October 1st, 2017. The goal of this is to allow application developers to have smart contracts that can access much more computing power when it is required, or maintain the same power at lower cost for tasks such as trial, for onboarding new users of applications that simply do not need the full security of blockchain to begin with.
So
Yeah, interesting, right? So yeah.
Absolutely. We are token asset agnostic, just looking for them sweet, sweet gains. 1 sec. It's just it's gonna load back up, and okay, yeah, back on. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna start sharing my screen. Also gonna stop taking a look at the YouTube so I can focus. Okay, good stuff. Let me just go.
I'm watching it too.
Okay, cool. So can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Cool, good stuff. So I mean, I'll just start off with what I did this past week. So of course everyone's aware of certain geopolitical tensions, and yeah, it's always good to look at the markets when these things happen, because there will be corresponding movements. So I saw a company called Nextera Energy, and the first thing how I actually heard about this is I saw a list of assets that were at 52-week lows. So this is how I basically begin my analysis. I want to see what's oversold, like immediately. I'm sorry, oversold. So I want to see what people have just like shorted, like too much, clearly too much, because then I know, okay, there's probably going to be a bounce. So as you can see here, I've got my RSI. Backtesting the RSI is a good way to basically formulate a strategy. And as I was saying to the Shuriken Collective earlier this week or last week, it's a fundamental law of nature, right? That if an object can only go in 2 directions and it wants to change direction, it must come to a halt. Now, the beautiful thing about the RSI is it allows you to measure momentum, right? So let's take a look at price. It can only go in 2 directions, up or down. And before it changes direction, it must come to a halt. Now, the reason the RSI and other momentum indicators are particularly great is because they give you a glimpse into the future. A lot of other indicators are lagging indicators, i.e. the move happens and then you see it. But that's not quite useful, is it? Especially seeing as we refer to ourselves, as snipers. We want to make sure we get that. We want to make sure we get that bottom as low as possible. Of course, the absolute bottom is a retail fallacy, but it's important to remember, you can get close to it. So yeah, I just saw that and I was like, okay, cool. I can see the RSI is screaming, buy me, like right here. It's just saying, buy me right now, Look, you can even see it's already getting color. That's how I know on TradingView. Once it starts getting color, that's when I know, okay, this is a good time to buy. And there are 2 simple moving averages on the RSI. One of them is a shorter length than the other one. So the yellow one is shorter, meaning it is much more up to date. However, the risk with that is it's also much more susceptible to whips and short periods of volatility. So it may not be accurate from a longer term point of view. Whereas the purple is longer in terms of how many units, how many candles it takes into its data in order to work out the average. So for me, I just always wait for when my mistake, I've just said that the other way around. The purple is shorter, the yellow is longer. So when the purple crosses the yellow, that means that there has been a drastic shift. This is sort of like a moment of inflection. That means there's been a drastic shift in, firstly, momentum. From the downside, it's now going to the upside or vice versa. But not only that, it also means that there's going to be like a lot of volume in the markets, right? So what I try and do is, even within the move, I don't want to get, let's say, the how do I say this? The lowest sort of accelerating part of the move. I want to get the highest accelerating part of the move. So that's typically somewhere in the middle. So I don't even go as low as I could, because I just want to get it from when it really starts to pump, right? And this is part of my risk taking strategy. So when that happens, you know, okay, there's going to be a lot of volume. Why is there going to be a lot of volume? Because this is a moving average crossover, one of the most basic, simple, and most popular sort of strategies, right? So as soon as I see that, okay, I know there's likely going to be a large amount of volume, as there was here. As you can see, I entered on the 11th of October at 52.34. So if we get the ruler tool out now, you can see I basically came from here and right now sitting on about 4%, you know, healthily. So, but at its peak, it was about 5%, 5.5%. And this is, of course, within 2 days, because of course the markets closed on Friday. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't. But I told you last live, right, that I'm looking into trade some because Bitcoin's being very boring. I'm just trading altcoins. But I was gonna ask you now, actually, if you have any, not advice, right? But if you have any tips and what to buy on a stock portfolio, I might do this like live on my channel just to, you know, diversify.
I'll say one of them, Snapchat.
And PayPal.
There we go.
Yeah, there isn't a time when I'm with Ninja that he isn't in my head about both of the stocks. So yeah, that's Ninja's go-to.
So please send me a Fidelity portfolio. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I can even just look at them.
And I mean, PayPal, it's a payment provider and they changing a lot of things. So I think it's a great. I might do this live soon.
Yeah, so
Forex portfolio. Free money.
filled.
Yeah, they have to be.
There's a gap right here in that space. Oh, right.
Ooh.
Weekly. Let's go. Let's go.
Damn, I just saw one of them. Was there a bigger one than?
There is no leverage, right?
No leverage.
Oh, that's boring.
Wait. Oh, I thought you wanted to see the all-time high. All right.
I can see that.
Oh, like this gap right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I see what you mean now. Oh, this one. Oh, right. That's a lot of space right there. Yeah.
There's a lot of them as well.
Yeah, what's interesting as
Yeah,
well.
you convinced me.
This is Ninja.
I'm gonna trade some stocks.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Leverage though.
I would say no leverage. Yeah, I mean not until at least yeah, you've got experience doing it without leverage. I mean, I would say what's good with these is I can get out within 2-3 days. I will go into some crypto as well in a bit, but I just wanted to basically show how stocks can actually perform. Obviously, Ninja actually marked up this chart. I remember him actually doing this. So all these drawings are his. But yeah, this gap is definitely going to be filled, and well, not definitely, obviously, financial advice. We think based on our experience. Yeah. What would we know? Anyway, let me go back to near energy. So as soon as I saw this happen, I was just like, okay, cool. That looks quite good. Normally I would be out by now. Like I would really just take like 4 or 5% within a couple of days and I'm out. because I also don't want to be in the markets for too long. And this is part of my risk assessment strategy. So like I said, I just want to catch the move when it's got the most amount of volume. So I don't even want to get it at the lowest. I just want to get it when it's doing the quickest move up. So when it's accelerating at the most. And then, yeah, I just get that move, and then I'm usually cash out. With NextEra Energy, I'm going to stay in it for a bit just because it's also looking pretty sweet on the weekly as well. It looks like that is going to do a nice move. So I don't mind sitting on this for a little while. Oh, what happened there?
Whoa.
Huh, that's strange.
And that one is a great for a long term also, right? I mean, long short term, I would say 3 months on a hold.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, I would say it's pretty good.
Yeah, energy stocks definitely. With the current crisis that's going on over in the
I see that is a very great buy on a weekly.
Yeah, so I saw this and I was like, okay, this is a nice long-term play, because normally I wouldn't hold for more than like a week. At the very max. I like to be in and out within like just a few days, because you never know what's going to happen as well. Yeah, so that was one nice one. I also looked into highly speculative altcoin. This one was interesting, called Flare. I saw it was at an interesting position, and I saw there's a bit of interesting divergence because the RSI is going up whilst price is going down, right? And I saw, yeah, so I mean, I think I've showed you this once. I mean, they're even you can even see some divergences with like I don't know, a triple peak divergence going on, where yeah, the momentum is going in one direction, but price is going in another. And if we take a look at last time this crossed over, right? So remember, we want to get not just the move, we don't even want the whole move, we just want the move when it's got the most amount of volume, right? So we get in and out real quick. So I'm shaving off the start. I think I was taught this years ago. Yeah, I was taught this years ago when I was trading with some really useful people. Anyway, as soon as you can see this purple crosses the yellow, let's look at what happens here. In about 9 days, we got like what, 37%. So this is the kind of moves I like to take, and especially because they happen they can happen quite quickly, which means it's easy to get in and out of, but it's also easy to miss if you're not being vigilant. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, cool. And this is why I start off like all my operations for TA with what's at its lowest. I get a list of tech stocks or stocks in general that are at 52-week lows, and I get a list of altcoins that are at 52-week lows, because I just want to trade the momentum. You know, it all comes back to what I said at the start, which is, you know, the law of nature, that for one object, if an object can only go in two directions, in order for it to change directions, it must come to a halt. And this is what we see quite clearly with the RSI indicator. So I can see this purple is getting close to that yellow. So I just put a very small percentage of my portfolio in there. Obviously, not financial advice, but I think it's going to do a nice little bump, kind of like it did here. If it does anything similar, let's say I get it from here, that's at least 30% in 9 days, you know, less than 2 weeks. So these are the kind of moves I like to make. Potentially, yeah. I mean, I would just begin taking a bit of my position off after 30%. And of course, I would look at, you know, support and resistance. I would see, what I typically do is I say, okay, cool, 30% is where I'm going to start taking profits. So let's say I'll go up here up to 30% again. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's go up to 30% here. So the first time I'm going to begin taking profits is going to be, so that's a 0.01, so 0.01. So what I do next is I go onto the hour, and then I see, okay, 0.01. Let me go back to that. So that was about, I'm just going to measure that up again. That was 30% from here. So 0.1219, right? I'm going to go on to the 1 hour. I know 0.1219 is where, anywhere underneath that, that's where I'm going to begin taking profit. So 0.1 219 is about, let's say here, gonna put a line there. And but more than that,
Let me panic time.
All of this is interesting as well, because if you look closely, yeah, that's nearly in line to a very, very high point of liquidity as well. So if you look over, there's a massive, massive wick on the daily chart. If you look over there, it's literally crossing through a point of liquidity as well, and that was the last point where the market just went up and then closed in an upside as well.
yeah, it's interesting. This is also where that nicely bottomed out. So you know we got a bit of confluence.
This is support. This is support as well. So
yeah, exactly. That nicely, and obviously support can turn into resistance, vice versa. So I'm going to begin on the hourly, and I'm going to look at like a significant resistance from below this line to begin taking profit. So now I'm about to introduce you all to my profit taking strategy. Yeah. Buy that dip, sell at the top, recycle, and that's pretty much it. So let's say let me look at this one here. So okay, cool. This will be the first place I actually take a percentage of my position off the table. Right. So let's look at how many, let's look at the percentage from there, just to see what's possible. I'm gonna go from here. Go from where we're at now. Okay, cool. That's already a nice 20%. Like, you know what I mean? And that can do that. I mean, let's see what kind of moves it's done. You know, you can see how volatile it's been. I'm just going to get closer in here. You can see how volatile it's been. So, for example, let's look at this breakdown that happened here, from here till about here. That happened in what, less than 2 weeks? You know, and that was like 20%. So, okay, cool. It's reasonable for us now to say we could get about 20% in less than 2 weeks, which I think is pretty decent, you know, but this is only where I begin taking profits. I'm now going to slice up my position, and you can do this. You can make it as complicated or as easy as you want. You can put in big orders. So let's say you can put in another sell order here, right, at 01179. Or what you can do is you can, let's say, take smaller percentages of your position off the table at finer gradients. Yeah. I mean, 95% is quite a bit. Obviously, it depends on your risk appetite, but I would say maybe like 60 to 80% of my position would go out. I think 95 is quite a bit because it can still go higher. No, me too. It just comes back to risk appetite. But yeah, that's where I would go from there. And I guess by this point, I've already exited the majority of my position. And yeah, that's how I would go about basically doing analysis on this. And yeah, the most important thing to remember is just ideally you want to wait for this purple moving average on the RSI to cross the yellow one, which is a longer length moving average. And then you're going to see a lot of volume injected into the charts. Yeah, I guess we could go into a few other things I'm looking at. Obviously, Polkadot. Oh my bad. All right, cool. I'm gonna leave it there then. I'm gonna leave it there. I didn't want to do too little.
Thank you. That was a lot.
Yes, I'm gonna be super quick anyway. How much time do I have? Cool. So I'm gonna be super quick. Last week I was looking at gold, and I managed to catch a massive spike in the market last week. So last week yeah. So literally, last week there was massive bullish movements going on. Particularly especially on the Friday. So essentially what happened was, the week before, let me zoom in actually. I only just added HEX now. Yeah, to give advice. Yeah, so essentially the week prior, there was a lot of selling pressure, as you can see here on the RSI, on gold. And so then there was news that struck on the Thursday, 2 weeks prior, that there was unemployment rates. So essentially, as these unemployment rates happened, there was a massive, massive, massive spike going on. And then you can see this gap in the market as well. So essentially from there, all that happened was we can see a lot of we can see like a rising wedge happening. So you can see the market structure has changed. The market has gone from a downside to an upside. And you can see points of consolidation but in an upwards trend. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, then 6. This was on Thursday when the market just went boom, down, just literally one movement, couple in literally the space of 12 hours, the market's gone down. And then you can see here a change in momentum as Jay put so eloquently through here. And what actually happened was it broke through the structure that I put in place. And so essentially from around 7 a.m., sorry, or even, what was it? It was like 12, like it was 11 in the night on Thursday. Yeah, you can see the market literally just spiking up. And so I was able to catch this movement on 7 a.m. the following day. So it was around here. I'll go into the 1 hour. And I was just literally doing a day trade on gold. And I was just holding on to gold for dear life, just saying, okay, cool. I'm literally seeing news happening. A lot of people are buying through fear because of the conflicts that was going on in Israel. And so essentially I was just holding on gold. I wasn't selling. I was doing a couple sales, but that was literally just in moments of pullback when the market was losing a bit of momentum in periods of time. But yeah, essentially I've seen reports and I'm seeing here that, well, actually, first of all, I was anticipating a pullback to the structure, but now I don't actually think that this movement here is going to be happening. I think that there's a potential move in gold here for gold to keep rising on the upside as conflict is still going on. And of course, news is still going to be coming out throughout the day as well. So we could potentially see gold rise to this level here of resistance. Let me zoom out and show you. So yeah, we've got a resistance point here. We've also got this point here at 1945, which I haven't marked, but we will. And there's even more upside on the potential as well, as conflict is still brewing and still going on, and news is still happening as well, on a daily timescale. But essentially, gold has done a massive move last Friday alone. If we go and use the ruler, let's have a look at gold's potential or gold's move, 3.5%, which was a massive move in one day. If we go to the actual daily, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, and let's say hypothetically, if you had a trading account, right, a funded trading account of £100,000, like, and you're placing trades, and you're doing like a swing trade on a day with gold, and you went in on this, like, of course the upside is going to be crazy if you're placing more than one trade in a day as well. So yeah, that was the move on gold. As you can see, this was the structure. This was the week prior. So this was, well, actually no, this was the whole of September. So yeah, this was essentially the last week of September and the first week of October. This downside movement happened, and then all in the space of 1 week, like the market has pretty much returned back to its old price, which is insane. And of course, there's another resistance point here at 1988 and an all-time high of 2081. And we can potentially see gold reach that point in the near future, potentially because of course of the conflict and people, generally speaking, buy in fear of conflict when it happens as well. But so yeah, just to quickly put this through into perspective as well, from Friday 2 weeks ago till last Friday that just happened, we saw an increase of almost 7%, which is, as Ninja has put to perspective, would be crazy for Bitcoin to do as well. So yeah, gold has got huge potential on the upside. Gold is what I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it would essentially, yeah, absolutely. Because I've done some back testing as well. Gold generally only does that again in times of conflict. So for gold to go up as like quick as it goes down and even quicker is insane. Um, but yeah, I'm also currently looking at this point here. I am keeping my eye on this, of course, because of the news. Gold has huge potential to go on the upside, but I am, of course, being careful as Jay's pointed out. Looking on this RSI here, like if these two EMAs like cross over, then there could be a huge potential for people to sell. However, it could also keep going up and up and up, and it will be an even larger point of over value as well and overbuying. So
You can do the honors, bro.
yes, right. But yeah, so that was pretty much my analysis on gold. I don't actually trade it. Well, actually, if I could share my screen again, I know, I have also, as a result of the conflict, been looking into defense stocks and seeing how they correlate. Um, as Jay actually stipulated, energy stocks is something worth looking into because, of course, it would be of use at this point in time. Um, this is
Yes, guys, I need to join something else. And thank you for having me. Look forward to the next one.
Thank you for your
See ya.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
bye bye. So yeah, this is Northrop Grumman, which Wall Street Trapper actually put forward on one of his Instagram posts. This has gone up by how much? Let's have a look. This has gone up by 8.49% in 1 week. as a result of the conflict. This is also, is my computer lagging a lot? Yeah, there's also Lockheed Martin, which is another defense stock as well. Well, there's a huge gap in here to bear in mind as well. So from the close, we'll just measure this up. This is another 8.8% here, in the space of a week as well. Then we've got Lockheed Martin Corporation as well. Leidos Holdings, another defense stock that I also looked into. Probably, I'm guessing another 4%, 5% there as well, 4.89. And then we've also got some energy stocks here as well, by the name of Boeing. Boeing was one that I looked into, but I haven't seen much of a move here. It's worth maybe looking into. I haven't actually done any price action on this as well. On the weekly or daily, it doesn't seem to be oversold either. So we could potentially be seeing some downside further. It does, of course, look like it's in a downtrend right now as well. Also, we've got RTX, which is an energy stock. Has gone up by another 4%, possibly more. Then, of course, there's Nextera, as Jay has already stated. And the last one goes by the name of, sorry, my computer's moving very slow. Enbridge as well, which has also taken a bit of a pump in the last week as well. So with these, of course, defense stocks usually primarily just do their move in one go. However, if conflict proceeds to brew, then we could potentially be seeing more upside. I personally just thought it would be worth taking a look at it to see how markets move when these things happen. Again, it's not financial advice. I personally, on an ethical standpoint, wouldn't really sit too well with me, investing in such a thing. But yeah, gold and cryptocurrencies are my go-to based off of Ninja and Jay's request, and gold is just my own personal thing. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick as well, RTX, that's Raytheon, right? That's a defense stock.
Yeah, that is Raytheon,
yeah. Yeah, because I think you mentioned it was an energy one, but yeah, it's a defense stock, quite somewhat popular. Yeah, I think it's interesting what you said. That's why I looked into Nextera, because I think defense will definitely see some gains. It's definitely going to go up. For me, I think it's a bit too risky for me. I actually have quite a low risk appetite in some situations, so I prefer to go into like energy stocks because obviously they won't be still affected a lot, but not as directly as defense, because everyone knows, weapons of, war will be needed at times of war. So those stocks are going to go up. But energy, of course, is actually going to be, another one that closely follows. I sent it into our chat. I saw on an Instagram page. I can't verify whether it's true or not. An Instagram page called Wealth. They're usually quite factual, but I don't know about this. Apparently, the US deployed the largest warship in the world to help with the current ongoing conflict. So I just said, how much energy do you think the largest warship in the world would need? And what kind of contract or contracts for transactions do you think would take place for the facilitation of that? So yeah, that's just energy is another pretty stable one to look into as well. Generally, and especially at times like these.
Absolutely. I'd say the game is the game. You got to study it in order to win it. You got to play it in order to lose and learn from mistakes. Um, and literally, yeah, risk is how much you're willing to lose, for how much you're willing to gain. So, you know, there's no sacrifice without victory. You've got to sacrifice hardship. You've got to go through hardships, ups and downs, as the market does as well. Um, and yeah, just keep learning, keep studying. And one thing that I've learned from David Meltzer is focus on getting 1% better every day. Because if you do that, you'll be 2 times better in the space of 72 days at whatever it is that you do. So if you focus on being a better person, um, doing one more push up than you did yesterday, then you're gonna be a bit stronger slightly every time, you know. If you can resist any distractions, and that's no good for you for one day longer, you're like one step closer to where you want to be and who you want to become. So focus on 1%, you know, growth every day. And it's small steps that will take you to where you want to go. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Great stuff. Yeah, I would just echo that. I think that was a very appropriate question Ninja asked, which is that how much of your energy, attention, and time, right, can you sacrifice? And this is energy, attention, and time from actions that don't pay you. This is the first question. And it's not like what number can you say, how many hours? It's how many hours can you are you actually willing to do? Are you looking to put it in your schedule so there's a higher likelihood of you actually accomplishing it? And yeah, it all just comes down to that and being well informed and connected. You know, you got to have people on the ground because you can only cover so much ground with regards to information. And you know, the amount of information online is still growing exponentially. You know, so the rate at which it grows increases, like, and it has been increasing. It hasn't decreased in recent times. So you need to have multiple multiple people there. You know, they've got different algorithms to you. They may come across some interesting fundamental or technical analysis that they do. So yeah, comes down to being well informed and connected. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. So yeah, I would recommend tuning into these streams every Sunday to stay well informed and connected.
Absolutely.
Nice one. Yeah.
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 Take care.